Anant, Mr. Korakiwala and Mr. Gandhi spoke about technology, but one technology which is disrupting is artificial intelligence. We had the governor now talking about either you shape artificial intelligence, or the artificial intelligence will shape you. How do you think India Inc. is prepared to manage that kind of transition?
I think India Inc. is absolutely clear that AI is there to stay. It will be tremendously disruptive. We are seeing it particularly on the IT services side, where we've seen correction in terms of valuations. And I think in that space, there will be dramatic change. There will be winners and losers, and those who adapt faster are going to win. The manufacturing space is relatively lesser impacted, but there too, there will be a substantial change with Industry 4.0, AI, etc. coming in. So I think it's a matter of reskilling ourselves, making sure there's adoption of AI in everything that we do. And in an environment where we've all come from non-AI backgrounds. We are all, whether CAs, MBAs, financial, or engineers and so on. So how do we reskill ourselves as leaders, as well as spread that message all the way down to the people on the shop floor? I think is going to make or break our future as industry.
Vijay, how do you look at AI in manufacturing, especially with respect to how it's going to reshape the processes there?
As Anand said, I think it's still very early days in manufacturing. We're still not seeing the full impact of AI in many parts of our industry, industrial process, manufacturing processes. It is coming in a few areas, how do I improve process efficiency, IoT is coming in, which is coming in various shapes earlier. Now there's means to try and see if there are ways to accelerate that process of digitalization and I guess less human interface that was there. But the impact is still not as much as it is in some other aspects like software or HR processes or accounting processes. I still think it's early days, but Indian industry is certainly trying to adapt to AI coming in manufacturing processes.
Yes, Ms. Goodway.
I think the opportunity in manufacturing is huge, exactly as Anant and Vijay are laying out. I sit on the board of a Swiss company which has used AI for manufacturing process in terms of prediction. So what has happened is where a furnace shows is going to heat up in 3 weeks, which was their traditional norm. So you knew you had to shut it down for maintenance work. Through predictive AI support, they've now shown that in 6 months, they can predict that same problem. So imagine what that means in terms of the ability to shut down the line well in advance, do maintenance work well in advance. It's not a fire at the last minute. So the ability to, and the data was always there, right? It's using the same sensors, the same data, which was in the first instance being done by human brains to reanalyze. Here, it's being done for you with the same data through AI. So I think these are the opportunities for us that could well improve our operating efficiencies. And I'd rather favor the Chinese model in AI in that sense, unlike the US, which is much more sort of out there looking at the next innovation, which is how can you apply AI industry by industry to improve every aspect of industry. And maybe that is the model for us as we look at improving productivity and going forward with that.
Mr. Korakiwala, molecular research, a lot of AI being used there for molecular research and R&D. Are you able to bring down the cost of that research through AI?
We are examining that as a model, but obviously any research program has massive data, unbelievable data. So obviously AI will help us in speeding up understanding of the outcome of the data. It's tremendously, and what greater gain we see is the time reduction of data. If you save 1 year or 2 years of time on development of a new drug, that is a lot of value because your patent life is limited. So that is a very big advantage one sees. Our scientists are a little skeptical. Can they innovate? AI can innovate a new drug. And they somehow feel that AI is not yet ready. Because look at that example of chess. AI is not able to beat some of the grandmasters in chess. So human mind ingenuity and ability to connect unconnected is very high. But I must tell you another thing, what we are looking as an organization, where in all areas of organization, you have to be competitive within and globally. And there are a lot of low-hanging fruits in AI one can adopt in various parts of the organization. And that would bring, according to us, about 2/3 of improvement in productivity and savings. And it will cost you a fraction today. And there are a lot of AI approach and available locally developed. The cost of doing it is a fraction what you do in the West. So if we combine all these elements, I think that is the beginning one can make and get substantial advantage of AI across the organization in all functions at a relatively a very modest cost.
Rajiv, what about the clinical trials? Does it help in clinical trials and better, faster drug to the market in that sense?
In a way, it definitely helps because the forecasting, predictability, these aspects are now much more, because it's a summation of all past data which would have not been actually used to really get into knowing things. It is definitely helping to get the drug, into the market faster than what it would have been earlier. Though these are steps which are still happening. As Anand said, all companies are yet crawling in the area of artificial intelligence, and they are first using it on the marketing side, and then they are going backwards up to the manufacturing side. And talking about vaccines, we are dealing with organisms, virus, bacteria. So AI can help to a great extent, but at the end of the day, it's like the growth of that material in the media, etc., etc. So that artificial intelligence sometimes does fail in predicting it absolutely in that way, because then sometimes there is some element, some difference in the growth. So that is also a factor. But having said that, it definitely is taking things forward.
Mr. Somani, he spoke about marketing and distribution. Does it help you in having a better planning, better just-in-time and access to markets?
So in our ceramic business, we have some 25,000 SKUs. Something or the other is always falling short. So we are using AI very well now in a much more structured S&OP process. The earlier one used to work on past data, but consumers are changing. Their profile is changing, their age is changing, their requirements changing. So the past data is not reflective of the future. The AI modeling is helping us improve our predictability to market. So it's helping us get our product to our distributors, to our dealers faster, quicker, on time, and what they need. We are also using AI in our glass manufacturing, where we're the largest in the country. The machines are now talking to each other. We had a lot of data, but frankly, nobody used to go into that data in the depth that was required. Now the modeling itself is telling us where the fault is, and it is much easier to address the fault. We are working now further, our engineers are working on making the data actually talk to the machine itself so that it self-corrects. There's no human intervention required. We're still, I think, a year away from actually trying that model out, but I think in a year's time, our guys will be able to make the model talk to the machine, and then there is no human intervention required. It'll self-correct itself. So,
Mr. Panda, how's your sector managing the AI?
So, to carry on with some of the examples which have been shared here, that look, first and foremost, I think AI is here to stay, as Anand very rightly put it. It's a question of which sectors are early adopters, which sectors benefit more, which sectors take a little bit time to catch up. But I think the potential is humongous when it comes to manufacturing, because I mean we have all predictive maintenance has been there for a long time, but looking at the data data and trying to predict failure in a much more proactive manner rather than simply number of operations of a motor or something of that sort. So the AI gives you the ability to to analyze greater larger data, more number of parameters, etc. But in our case, one of the areas where we are working on, and I think we are making a good amount of progress, is looking at efficiency of operations, because again, furnaces depend a lot upon the burden mix. First of all, it depends upon the quality of the operator of that particular shift. But this is all individualized knowledge. How do you, not operators are as capable. A human being by definition will be able to look at 4 or 5 parameters as best when we are calculating a burden. But dump all of that data into AI, and it's actually tailor-made for it to analyze not just 4 or 5 parameters, but a lot more number of parameters, and come up with the optimal burden mix, the golden mix as it is called, and look to replicate that time and time again. But the bigger impact for us is not just the efficiency that you're looking to get, but institutionalizing that knowledge. So you're not dependent upon one operator running a shift, or if he or she were to retire or move on, then you lose that knowledge. So I think there's a lot of potential in manufacturing in AI. We are scratching the surface at the moment, but that's something that I think all of us here, coming from different sectors, everybody recognizes it's here to stay, and you adapt or you perish.
Anand, the cost of AI. That's something which no one talks about. Token costs are very high. If you depend entirely on that, the kind of advantage or the cost advantage which was there, that goes away because of that high token cost. Do you see a hybrid model of human AI in place for this because of the kind of cost benefits that's going to come in?
I think especially if you look at sectors where the capital investment or the scale of the operations are very high, I think the positive impact of AI will far outpace the cost. Now, some of the examples that we saw today, if you're looking at new product development and it takes you 2 years, 3 years to develop a molecule, or in our case, it takes us 2 years to develop a new tire, if we bring that down to 3 months by use of more simulation and more data, that ROI is far higher than the use of tokens. Similarly, we have thousands of salespeople who are selling our products. Now, if you can enable them with, again, far more data and increase their productivity substantially, again, that return is high. Manufacturing, the cost of factories, 300, 500,000 crores or plus. Again, some small saving there in capex, 10%, 15% itself will result in large savings. So I think the benefits in manufacturing can be far higher.
How do you look at private capex? Because we have been talking about private capex for a lot of time. But capex is happening, but not in the traditional sectors. It's moved away from traditional to newer sectors and newer areas. How do you look at that now?
No, I believe, as I said, demand has picked up post GST 2.0. Utilization levels have increased. Maybe it was about 75, it's going up. And to that extent, as demand is picking up, we are seeing an increase in private capex. It is happening in certain sectors and maybe not fully across the board. And of course, new generation sectors such as electronics, now space, defense, drones, precision engineering, data centers. We are seeing that kind of capex absolutely happening. We have new FTAs that we are signing. Hopefully that will result in Indians looking more abroad as we look at building global brands. And I think these will lead to opportunities of further increasing capex as we make in India for the world, beyond making in India for India.